Thank you for joining me tonight, guys. I am here to talk to you about being a child care provider. I want you guys to think back to when you were younger and think back to maybe your daycare provider, your child care provider. Maybe it was an aunt or a grandmother. Maybe it was your mom. Maybe your mom was a stay-at-home mom. Think about the lessons that you learned from that person. There's lots of joys in being a child care worker. The joy that you get from looking at a child's face and watching them grow and watching them learn is like none other. I've been babysitting since I was 10 years old. I took a class at the American Red Cross and became CPR certified on infants and children, and also became babysitting certified when I was 10. I've also been a mother for 12 years, and I have been a stay-at-home mom and daycare provider, child care provider for the past 3. Child care is more than just babysitting. It's fostering a child's learning experiences. It's giving them a foundation on how they're going to learn and grow throughout their life. There's 3 ways to do this, 3 main ways to do this. You have to show the children love like Jesus shows you. Jesus, throughout the Bible, showed us love. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are filled with examples of how he showed us love. You also must set a good example for this child. This child may remember you from the rest of his or her life. And by setting a good example, it's going to mean something. And also, you must help teach the ways of Jesus, like Jesus taught them. That in turn will build good character for the child. The main point that I was talking about, showing love. There's a lot of quotes in Scripture on love, but there's also a lot of love lost in homes. And in the state of Tennessee, there are 147,325 children that are under the age of 6 that are needing child care. If you could provide love to 5 of those children, just 5 of those children, you could make a difference in each one of their lives. And the rewards that you get from showing them love is an immense amount of love that you will get back from that child. You can see it in their face, in their expressions, and in their demeanor. Another important point is setting an example for a child. We as Christians must set a good example for everyone, but mostly we need to set a good example for children that we come in contact with at Sunday school, that we teach, or that we have of our own. The New International Version of the Bible states in Titus 2:7, "In everything set them an example by doing what is good. In your teachings show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech." Think about the good examples that you had when you were a child. Was it a child care provider that provided them, or maybe a babysitter, or maybe it was your parents? Maybe it was a Sunday school teacher. But in order to raise a good child or provide good care for a child, you have to set a good example of how they should be. The third point is teaching as Jesus taught us. I was going back to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the first 3 chapters of the Bible. And those have a lot of examples of how Jesus taught. And if we could use that as an example, and we could use that to teach the children about Jesus. In Proverbs 22:6, it states, "Start children off on the way that they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it." It also says, Miss Fuller says in her book, School Starts at Home, "Reading aloud has lots of benefits for young readers. When you tell stories or read aloud, they have to use their imaginations to make illustrations." And you could read a picture book, just a small box book to them, and you could teach them simple things, but you could also teach them simple things from the Bible. The Bible has so many stories, and they could use their imagination. This has no pictures in it. They could use their imagination to form opinions and to form stories. And also, you can give them a complete book of Bible stories that have pictures and that tell a tale that you can show through pictures. But that fosters their imagination, and it fosters their learning on Jesus. And what better way to start them off than to start them off right and start them at home and at your daycare center. Like I said, childcare is a very rewarding career. You get to watch children grow and foster. It's not something that you're going to make a fortune in. It's something that your rewards are going to be internal more than external. Because to provide good and adequate care, you can't overwhelm yourself. So as long as you foster that child's physical and mental abilities and spiritual abilities, you're doing a good job. But just think of yourself as a child. Imagine yourself as a child and think back to those warm and fuzzy memories. And I guarantee it's probably from somebody that gave you somebody like a Sunday school teacher or a child care provider that provided that love for you and that example for you and showed you the love of Jesus through his stories. Thank you for your time, and you have been a great audience. Have a great night.